Alright guys, so in this video today I'm going to be modeling the train body for the first part of our miniature train project. Now, this can be difficult. I'm going to try and go quickly on YouTube so this video isn't 20 minutes long. But as you can see here, there's a ton of different dimensions on here that we need to be following. So if I'm going too fast for you, the nice thing on YouTube is that you can slow me down. You can replay this as many times as you want to, and I know on an iPad it's going to be difficult. So in order to look at these dimensions while you're modeling, you're going to need to have two different screens, or you can print out the PDF from Schoology and have it on a piece of paper in front of you, which is generally what I do. But let's get going on this thing. Remember, the purpose of this project is not to make you an expert modeler. It's to kind of get you used to reading dimensions and making some decisions in your head about how this thing will be, look in 3 dimensions. So here we go. One of the things to remember that in this train body blueprint, there are 2 different views. There's this front view of the object, and there is the view down here on the second page, which is the back view. So this is critical. Some people forget to look on the second page and they think like, oh, Steinbach, all the dimensions are not here. They are. This is essentially like a Sudoku puzzle where all the dimensions to build this are here. You just have to find them, and some are missing. But you can solve them with all the numbers that are there. So kind of like a Sudoku where you're figuring out 1 through 9 in your squares. All the information is here. We just have to kind of figure it out together. So here we go. Like I said, if I go too fast, feel free to slow me down, and we'll go from there. So the first thing that I want to do is I want to make this major train body with this rectangle and the arc across it. Now to do that, I'm going to need to make this 2-dimensional piece and extrude it the length of the train. So let's do that here. The top view shows me how wide the train is. So it looks like it's 2 inches wide, and I think that's all we need for right now. So let's do that. So I'm going to make a rectangle. I'm going to make this thing, I'm going to hit tab, 2 inches wide. I'm going to make it 4 inches tall because I don't know how tall it is yet, and we're going to trim. So now I'm going to be looking at this arc system. Now, the arc will tell me the height of this whole back body piece, but remember, there's no dimension that says exactly what the height is unless we do a little bit of math. So here's what I'm referencing. There's a hole in the back where the center point of the hole is 0.375. The hole is centered, so I'm going to put that on this drawing, even though I'm not necessarily using it yet. I'm going to make this hole 0.375. I'm going to hit D for dimension and dimension this so it's 1 inch off the side. And it looks like, sorry, the hole's not 0.375. The hole should be 0.25. It looks like the hole is D for dimension, 0.375 off the bottom, 0.375. It's a 0.25 hole. Now, if we look at our print here, in order to tell how tall this back of the train is, we can use this radius of the arc here. Imagine this arc as a big circle. Right now, it's giving us the radius of this big circle. So let me show you a cool trick here. Instead of trying to draw the arc on Fusion, what you can do is draw the circle, and instead of using the radius here, we're going to use the diameter, which is 2 times the radius. So if we do 2.35 times 2, I use the little asterisk star button, and hit enter, this is going to give me this big circle, but this is the right size of the arc. This matches our print right here. So watch what I can do now. I can use the scissors button up here, trim, or the hotkey is T, but I'm just going to click on it. And I can start trimming away all of these extra lines, so I'm only left with this little back piece right there. It's okay if it gives me an error. Finish sketch. Okay, and I'm not going to worry about this hole right now. I'm going to click on extrude. I'm going to click on this object and the circle. I'm just going to make it solid. and I need to figure out how far I need to extrude. It looks like the length is 5.5. So I'm going to type in 5.5 inches, 5.5, and hit enter. Now we have this main body here, but I want to work on this front circle. Okay, I'm going to draw this circle here. The rectangle is kind of already drawn. And then I'm going to remove material to get this little cutout. So to do that, I'm going to put a new sketch right on the front. I'm going to draw this circle, which happens to be a circle with a radius of 0.75. Remember, in Fusion, when we draw our circles, though, we always have to use diameter. So if our radius is 0.75, we need to multiply times 2. Or you can just do it in your head. 0.75 times 2 is 1.5. Now, we have to dimension this from the bottom and from the side. I know that this center of the circle is right in the middle. So, because our train width was 2, it needs to be 1. And from the bottom here, let's see what the dimension needs to be. If I'm reading my print and I zoom in, I look at these extension lines right here from the center of the circle. It says that between these arrows, from the top and bottom of the train is 1.375. Boom. Now that circle is dimensioned. Okay. Now let's draw. I know I said we already drew this. I want to draw this little rectangle down here to kind of help us frame out the front of this train. So I'm going to click on a rectangle. I'm going to click on the bottom of this, and I can eyeball it a little bit before I add dimensions in. It's going to be the entire width of the train. And how tall does that thing need to go up? Let's look here. The top of this little rectangle looks to be, let's look for the right arrow here. Aha, right here. 0.875 tall. So I automatically clicked out of this rectangle feature. To dimension it, I can click on D on my keyboard for dimension. Click on the top, click on the bottom, and type 0.875, enter. Now I'm going to trim with the scissors tool or the hotkey of T. I'm going to trim this up right there, that up right there, and now I want to extrude all of this area back. So let's spin this around so we can see. So how far back do I need to cut this? Well, let's look. Here's where we need to do a little bit of math. If this entire train is 5.5 long, and it looks like, let's see if we can see, I can't find the other dimension to show me how deep this extrusion is, but I do know the dimension from here to the back. So from here to the back is 1.75. So if I do 5.5 minus 1.75, that'll give me my extrusion. So let's do that on here. Now you can do that on your head, or you can click and you can have it do the math for you. 5.5 minus 1 is 4.5. Minus 0.75 is 3.75, which is how much we want to extrude. Now if it does this on you, change your operation to cut and it'll flip it. It should. And if it doesn't, grab the arrow. We want it to be, at least in my example, minus 3.75. And then hit OK. And look at that. We have a train body starting to come together. Now the next thing that we need to do, let's do some easier things here. Let's do the holes in the front of the face. So there's 3 holes there. Now the information for the holes can be found right here. The circle with the line going through it means the diameter of the hole. The arrow going down means the depth of the hole. And this times 3 means that there are 3 of them. So all of this information is the same for each hole. So let's put a new sketch right on the front. And I like to just first draw the holes. I don't care about their location yet. I know that they're 0.125 in diameter. So circle to another one over here, 0.125. Now the locations of these right now are not exact. I'm going to move them. But the diameters are correct. So let's look at our information here. Let's start with these bottom holes. So if I look on the up and down direction, how high they are off the bottom, it looks like, here's the line, they're both 0.125 from the bottom and 0.375 from the left and right side. So let's go dimension, click on the hole. So this should be 0.125. Yeah, same with this one, 0.125, and then from the side, it's 0.375, and this one is 0.375. You know that the dimensions are all good when your object turns black. So you can see the difference. This one's still blue, meaning we still have to add some dimensions to it. So this one we know is centered. So the center point is 1 inch. We've done that before. And from the height, it looks like it's 0.625. So let's do that. 0.625. All of these are black. Finish sketch. And let's see how deep they need to be. I know I said this already, but 0.125. So let's go extrude. We need to click on each hole. Let's change this to operation cut. And 0.125. Now always look at it beforehand. Look, it says you're trying to cut, but there's nothing to cut. That's because we need the arrow to go the other way. Sometimes that's a pain in the butt, but that's okay. Hit OK. Now we have these 3 holes. Life is looking good. We're getting closer to being done. Let's do these side holes here. So we're going to do these 2 holes down here. It's the same operation. Create sketch, sketch on the side. The hole diameter is, I know this can be confusing. So these happen to be threaded holes, but for now, let's just look at this number. These are 1/4 inch holes, meaning they're 0.25 in diameter. So let's draw 2 holes that are 0.25. Let's draw another one over here, 0.25, and let's dimension them from the bottom. From the bottom, it looks like they are 0.5 each. So click on your circle, click on the ground. I hit escape there because I don't know what that was. I'm going to try it again. Here to here, 0.5. Here to here, 0.5. And then let's look at the distance from the sides here. This back hole needs to be 1 inch away from the back. So from here to here is 1 inch. And then what about this one? This one needs to be 4.5 inches from the back of the train. 4.5, enter. Both of our holes are black. They are good to go. Let's click on Finish Sketch, and let's do some extrusions. Click on Extrude, click on both of these holes, and they need to be 0.875 deep. Now it says 0.875 times 4. It's because there's 2 other holes on the other side in the same locations, but I'm going to show you a trick to do those. Let's first cut these to minus 0.875. Okay. Now here's a cool trick. If I don't want to remodel these, I can do what's called mirroring, which means if I put a sketch plane right in the center of this train, I can have it copy these extrusions and flip them over right to this side for me. We're going to be using this a lot in this class. So watch how you do this. If you go up to the construct button up here and you drop it down, there's a button that says midplane. So what we need to do now is we need to click 2 flat surfaces that are parallel. There, we want our midplane to go in between. So like, I'm going to click on this surface. I'm going to spin over and click on this surface and watch what happens. Boom. I'm going to hit OK. It just put this weird plane through the middle. Okay. And a new folder came up over here that says construction, because a plane is a construction component. So now watch this thing. Up at the top, we're going to find a button that says mirror. It looks like a triangle. You may have to drop down the Create tab to find it. Mirror. Then it says type. We want to do, Let's go bodies. Let's select the no, let's try features. Yeah, is it features? Let's see. Maybe it's faces. Yeah, let's try that. Type faces. Let's click on this face. Click on this face. Sorry, that one didn't work. No, there's two. Then mirror plane. We want it to flip around this thing. Notice what it did. I didn't hit OK yet, but it's going to put them on that side, I hope. Hit OK. Boom. There they go. So look, it just did all that work for us. Now, I don't want to look at this plane anymore. I'm not using it. So what I'm going to do is just click on the eyeball next to construction, and it'll go away. It's just hidden. I'm going to hit save, Control S, or you can hit the save button. I'm going to keep going. We're almost done. Now, we're going to put this little circle in the back of the train body. So let's put so this circle right here. Let's see if I can zoom in. Yeah. So I'm going to put a new sketch right on the side, and I'm going to first draw my circle anywhere. That circle has a radius of 0.5, so a diameter of 1. Enter. It looks like the circle center is 0.25 from the right side of the train. So dimension, click on the circle, click on the side, 0.25. Enter. Now notice the center of the circle is 1.75 from the bottom of the train. So dimension D, click on the circle, click on the bottom, click over here, 1.75. Enter. Now here's what I want you to notice. This is a common mistake that a lot of my students make when doing this thing. This hole at the end is not curved. It's straight. We call that tangent. So if you look at this print right here, this part is straight across. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to draw a line that goes from here to the end, just like that. So that's a tangent, and I think that's a straight line. If we want to make sure that this is straight, I'm going to do the same thing down here. Click here. If we want to make sure, yeah, this is not a straight line. To fix this and make this, horizontal, using bad vocabulary, I'm going to click on this horizontal button. This is a new thing that we're trying. I'm going to click it, and notice it's black. Life is good. I'm going to just trim up this circle because I like to do that. And I'm going to trim this and trim this one. And just for giggles, I'm going to close this piece of geometry just to make sure that it extrudes. Finish sketch. It's all black, so that's good. Nothing's blue. Extrude, and this cuts all the way through. So I don't even need to give it a dimension. I just like to go all the way through. And hit OK. Boom. We're getting there. Almost done. The last part is the most complicated, but I'm going to show you a cool trick. So the last part is the hole for this train stack. Now, to do this hole, we need to put a sketch on this rounded part of the train body. So look, if I click on sketch and I try and click, whoops, undo, it doesn't let me select this curved face or this one. You only are allowed to draw a sketch on a flat object or plane. So watch what I'm going to do instead. Now, you haven't done this before, so it's okay if this is tough. So we need to make a new plane, kind of like we did before. Very important. We told our file to hide all planes. Remember, because we hid that middle one? So let's bring it back. This time, we want a plane going right on top of this. So let's go to construct, and this time we're going to do a tangent plane right here. Watch this. Click on tangent plane. We're going to click on the face that we want, and look, it already drew it for us. Now you can rotate it if you want to. Don't rotate it. We're going to keep it at 0 degrees. We're going to click on OK, and now look, I have a flat surface right on top of there to draw. Now it's really confusing because I have this bisecting one as well. So what you can do is we can hide that one plane individually because I don't want to look at it anymore. So that bisecting plane, if I open the construction folder as plane 1, I think, I'm just going to turn off that one. There we go. So now I'm going to put a new sketch on this plane. just like we did before, and I'm going to draw a circle. That diameter of that hole needs to be 0.5. It is centered. Okay, so I'm going to center this thing and make it 1 inch from the side. And it looks like from the front, it's 0.875. Again, you may have to, oh, look at that. It was perfect position. So it's nice. It's black lines. You may have to go a little bit slower, and you may have to repeat that section. Hit Finish Sketch. And if I flip this around, you can kind of see what we did. We drew that right on that little plane. Let's extrude. I know we have these weird pink lines. That's fine. We're going to cut, and it looks like that goes down 0.25. Now again, look, it wants to come up. We don't want that. We want it to go down, so minus 0.25. Hit OK, and right there is our finished part. Oh, we have one more thing to do. These holes in the side are supposed to be threaded like a bolt. So this is really easy. To add threads, we're going to click the Create button. We're going to find the Thread button, and Fusion's pretty smart. It knows what size these are. So I'm just going to click the inside of these holes. So I'm going to click on, I wonder if I can click multiple. Oh, no, I don't want to do that. Let's try that again. Create thread. Okay. Let's do that. So let's go this one. Let's hit OK. Let's do the same thing. Let's go thread. This one, hit OK. Let's go create this one, hit OK. And there is a way for you guys to do this over and over again, but it wasn't working for me. Hit OK. So now, when you zoom in, those things are completely threaded. This is a good point. Hit save, and right there, you have finished the train body. Good work.